Andrea Eckelberger demonstrates how she helps learners develop beginning literacy skills.
Yesterday, we wrote a story. What happened in the story? Yeah. What did we do in the story? Where did we go? Hardware store. The hardware store. Where is the hardware store?
Pain Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
This is a class for emergent readers who haven't been in the United States very long, and we're working on developing literacy skills alongside of life skills to help them to be successful while living in the United States. We have classes for 20 hours a week, 2 hours in the morning, a short break, and then another 2 hours after lunch.
Questions? Yeah.
Well, we used the language experience approach where we all had a common experience that we did together, and while it was happening, I took pictures and printed them out so that I could show the students, and we went through the pictures, and in each picture talked about, as a whole class, what do you see in the picture, what did we do, what is this person doing, and then as we were talking out and as the students were giving me the language that they remembered and that they already knew from the previous units that we've been doing, I would write the story down on the board. So when we finished, we had a story where a lot of language that the learners were already familiar with, that they'd already talked about and thought about, with a few additional words that I helped them put in there with vocabulary that I wanted to make sure that they knew.
Nice, nice. Do you use the mouse trap? Yeah, some people bought mouse traps. The mouse traps, and we found the cockroach powder and the bed bug spray. Okay. And Ning found some other things. What else does Ning have? What else did people buy? Stove cleaner. Yeah, stove cleaner. And what is this?
I feel like there's no sense in teaching someone how to write something if they don't know how to say it first, because you have to know what a word means for it to have any meaning when you're writing it. So we do a lot of work with vocabulary development, getting people to feel comfortable talking about themselves, sharing information, but we're always trying to bring that back and connect it to print to give what they're writing meaning.
In the bag, and change, gives you change. Good. And then what do we say?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And how did we feel? Happy? Happy? Maybe a little bit cold because it was snowing a lot. We had to go back to school. Okay. Can everybody take out your story? And I want you to look at the story, read it in your head. Okay, so read the story quietly. Read it in your head.
The day before, the learners copied the class-generated story into their notebooks.
Okay. Does everybody want to put your finger on your paper? I will read the story. You read your paper and follow along. So right now, just listening. Okay. On Friday, we go to the hardware store. The hardware store is on the corner of Payne Avenue and Maryland Avenue. We ask questions.
Following along with the text, while Andrea reads aloud, helps students connect oral language to print, an early step in literacy development.
We find the bed bug spray. We find the stove cleaner, wall cleaner, dish soap, and washing machine soap. We pay money to the cashier. Good. Okay. This time, I will read one sentence. Everybody listen, then repeat. Okay. On Friday, we go to the hardware store.
On Friday, we go to the hardware store.
Repeating the sentences reinforces the connection between spoken language and the written word.
Good. We say thank you.
We say thank you.
We are happy.
We are happy.
Good. Are you ready to read it all together? Yeah. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. On Friday, we go to the hardware store.
Well, I think the most important thing for emergent readers is repetition, that they're seeing the same words over and over and over until they're familiar and comfortable with them and can use them in a lot of different contexts. So we do a lot of repetition, we do a lot of scaffolding, where each lesson in a unit builds on the one before and goes back and uses words that they've learned previously. And we do a lot of work with pictures. I use a lot of visuals to support what we're talking about. I act things out a lot. I encourage learners to act things out a lot when they're telling their stories. We draw pictures, sort of anything that we can use to get the language across and negotiate the language together.
That we wrote yesterday. You guys do really, really well. So let's practice reading some of the words from this story. What is this word?
Friday.
Friday. Good.
Go.
Go.
Cleaner.
Yeah. Stove. Cleaner. Yeah.
While working on individual words in the story, Andrea also has learners work on pronunciation of more difficult sounds.
Hardware store. So store. Stove. Yeah. Yeah. Stove. Store. Good. Will.
Bed bug.
Bed bug. Spray. Bed bug spray.
Dish soap.
Yeah. Dish soap.
Dish soap.
Good. So out of these words, what words have the same sound? What words have the same sound? Okay, how about for, like this word? Will. Will. What other word sounds like will? Kill. Kill. Yeah, you're right. Will, and washing machine. Yeah. But when we say the words rhyme, the same sound. Will, kill. Will, kill.
People's vocabularies always seem like they grow bigger than their reading and writing skills, faster than their reading and writing skills. So when they're learning how to write, knowing that this word sounds like another word that I know how to write, so maybe if I just change the first letter, now I know how to spell it. And they don't have to go through sounding out each tiny little sound to do the spelling, and it makes their spelling faster and a lot more natural.
How about Bill? B-I-L-L. Bill. Bill. Kill. Will. Kill. Bill. Ask.
Andrea gives each student 2 words from the story.
Hardware store. Cashier. Right. Let's go around the room. One person stand up. One person stand up. Read your words. So Tinton, do you want to go first? Okay, yep, so show your words.
Tissue. Tissue.
Pig.
Tissue.
Good. Stove.
Can.
Mm-hmm.
And.
And good. Go. Go. Good.
And dear find
Yeah. Find and
find
cashier.
cashier.
Cashier. Good.
Well, Friday.
Good. Friday. So is everybody ready to make the sentences? Up here? Okay. On Friday, we go to the hardware store. So, on Friday, we go to
In this activity, Andrea checks to see if learners recognize their words and if they can recognize where their words go in a sentence.
the hardware store. Okay. And do we have one the or do we have two the? Does anyone else have the? The. Okay. And you are going to change. Yeah. Because you're the big letter, the big letter, the big T. So you will be at the front of the line.
As learners line up, they work on word order, use of upper and lowercase letters, as well as punctuation.
Wait. Go. Period.
On Friday, we go to the hardware store. On Friday, we go to the hardware store. Good. Listen and tell me which ones are stronger. On Friday, we go to the hardware store. On Friday, we go to the hardware store. Yep. Okay. Everybody stand up.
A fluent reader can say whole sentences with natural sentence stress.
Friday, we go to the hardware store. Good job. All right, sit down.
I have younger learners who like to get up and move around and be very active. And so this really helps the people who like to get up and be active and use their bodies to help them remember and help them learning. But it seems like everybody, no matter what their learning style is, really enjoys movement in English class.
Last one. Then we'll take a break. You ready?
We say thank you.
One more time.
We say thank you.
Ready to speak English? Okay. So first, what way is this? Everybody. What about this?
Down. Left.
Good. Left.
Up. Right.
A fluent reader recognizes sight words without sounding them out. Andrea prepares learners for a fly swatter game to practice recognizing sight words very quickly.
Right. Up. Down. Left. Right.
All right. So remember, you want to give directions in English, and you can spell the words. All right. So let's get two students. Sister-in-laws. The word is pests. Pests.
Only 2 learners work at the board at a time, but all of the learners are getting practice with finding sight words as they give their classmates directions.
Yeah, so left, up, left. And let's do one more. Who wants to come up again?
So it's a way to get learners to practice sight words very quickly. A lot of them use the first sound in the word. If it starts with they're looking for one that starts with an R. Looking for something that starts with an M. So they're working on their phonics, but they're also working on just the sight words, which is really useful for the smaller words, the, is, and, in, that we use every day.
Yeah, we're going to change to something different. I'm going to put you into partners, and we are going to practice spelling words. How many students do we have today?
19.
19? Find your partner and sit down with your partner. Yep, so spread out your cards, spread out your letters. So this week we are working on words with the sound cha, cha, th, and so number 3. Cha, and yeah. No T? Look at the words. Which words have the cha? Change. Good. What words has the th? Say it louder. Thank you. Yeah. Th.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Good. And what word has the dish soap? Good. Dish soap. Dish soap. Any other words with the sh?
For these decoding activities, using words learners can understand is key.
Machine soap. Washing machine soap. Okay. So I will say a word and you will spell the word. The first word is with. With. Wa. Is. Wa. Yeah, so wa. And then you need you have with. One I. I. Which one sounds like I? Yep, there it is. Good. With. With. Wa. Yeah, so with. How do you spell with? W-I-T-H. So which one does it go under? Which way?
Right.
Left? Right. With. Wa. I. Put them together. With. So 3 different groups. Who has a word that has the sound cha? Cha. Good. Wait. Okay. So, what is the sound? Cha. So we have which. Like for Halloween, does everybody know the witch? Which? Teacher. Teacher. Okay. Teacher? Teachers. Teachers. Yeah, every day you are teachers. Students and teachers together. Yeah. Cockroach powder. The cockroaches die. Yeah. Cockroach powder. Okay. So last thing, we are going to practice asking some questions and the answers. What is always the first question? First question. Every time we're going to do the paper, what's always the first question? What is your name?
Andrea prepares the class for an interview activity that draws from the whole text as well as language learned in earlier lessons.
What is your name? What is your name?
My name is Machu.
Okay. So everybody, can you repeat? What is the problem?
What
is the problem?
So how do you answer the question?
My family no key.
Yeah, my problem.
My father
Problem is good.
is
I heard problem is. Okay.
no.
No heat. No heat. What else? What is the problem?
Many of the practices in this lesson draw on techniques used to teach reading to children.
What other problems?